Welcome to Chef Carter's Cooking Corner. So today on Chef Carter's Cooking Corner, I'm going to be making cheesecake, kind of a New York style cheesecake. But instead of graham crackers, I'm going to be using ginger snaps, and my topping is going to be caramel apple. Doesn't that sound good? Okay, so I'm going to put these ginger snaps to the side for a minute. And I'm going to show you. I don't have a spring form pan. So what I'm doing is I'm taking a cake pan and some parchment paper. And I've done this before on my cooking channel. Basically, I'm just going to push the paper in here. Alright. Like so. So once the stuff gets in there, it'll weigh it down. Now, I'm going to take my ginger snaps. I have 20 ginger snaps in here. And I'm just going to crunch those down. Alright, so I'm going to use this one. This is actually just a used peanut butter jar. You know, this might work better if you put it in a bag and roll it, but I didn't want to waste a plastic bag, and this will work just fine. It just takes a little longer. Just move it around. There we go. Alright. Think a little bit more. I think that's good. What about you? Isn't that good? I think that's good. There's a couple big pieces in there, but they'll be softened by the cooking process and all the cheese and stuff that's going in here. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in to the cake pan. And I'll be right back. I got to take care of something. Alright, so we have the crumbled up cookies right here. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of melted butter. Alright, so yes, the butter is melted, and this pan is not hot though, because I melted the butter before I started. But I'm also going to make the caramel sauce in this pan, so I don't have to rewash it. Alright, so I need a spoon. Be right back. Alright, so I'm going ahead and I'm tossing. Said I'd get a spoon, but I got a fork. I figured maybe it'd be better to toss the cookie crumbles in with the butter. I didn't think it really matters though. Alrighty then. So you want to kind of get it evenly spread here, especially in the corners. Don't poke holes in your parchment paper. Okay, it looks like I'm poking holes in it, but I promise I'm not. I'm not pressing that hard. Just trying to get this corner to go down. There we go. Okay. I think that will work. And you see that the more I work with it, the better the parchment paper is taking the shape. Okay, I'm going to shake it around a little bit. Make sure it's an even coating. Alright, I think that looks good. What do you think? You agree? Alright. So, I'm going to put this in the sink here. We got our empty bowl. It's like I could use this bowl, but I don't think it'll be big enough for all the ingredients, so I need to get a bigger bowl and the mixer. Alright, so as you can see, I do have all my ingredients mise en place. I just need to open this cream cheese up. And then I'll be able to get started. So, first thing, 1 brick of cream cheese. I call them bricks. What do you call them? Let me know in the comments. And then I like to get anything that's right there. You know, we were having a bit of a shortage of cream cheese. And it wasn't that we were, like, our country was out of cream cheese. But from what I read, it was because they didn't have the packaging. The cream cheese was there. They just didn't have the packaging. Ooh, this sounds good. Double lemon cheesecake bars. Alright, gonna put that right there. For now, if you see it in the camera, I can't tell. But I promise I will get that put in the trash. I have to work sideways like this because I don't have like an island that I could work off of. I guess I could work off the table, but I don't know. I like working on the counter. It's a little bit higher than the table. You know, there's a reason why a counter is this tall. And I guess because I'm short, it shouldn't matter. But it's just I'm used to the counter height. Alright. So, and I like to keep my little paper towel to the side in case I want to wipe my hand off. Okay. So let's make sure this is creamy. Now, they say when you make cheesecake, you don't want to over mix it. So let's get started. Alright, so that's just to kind of spread it out. Now, I'm going to add the sugar. So that's 3/4 cup. Alright, yeah, that was 3/4 cup sugar, 16 ounces of cream cheese. Alright, so as you can see, I'm not mixing for very long at a time. Just long enough to get the ingredients incorporated. So now it says add 1 egg at a time. And that was 1 egg. This will be 2 eggs. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and scrape that down in there. that's enough of that for a minute. All right. So, okay, again, I'm going to scrape. I don't know why I freaked out. I thought it was going to fall for real, like all the way fall, like on the floor or something. All right. So, I'm going to add the rest of my ingredients, which includes the flour. And you can see I'm sprinkling it all around. And then, okay, maybe not sprinkle so much the vanilla. The flour, it was 2 tablespoons of flour, 2 teaspoons of vanilla, and a half a cup of sour cream. Sour cream is a traditional ingredient in New York style cheesecakes. And it gives it a more complex flavor. Alright. There we go. Put the spoon over to the side here. And now we add, what was this? 1/3 cup of milk. Now I want to show you something. This is my Universal Circus cup. I love the Universal Circus. Have you guys ever been to it? It is amazing. I love all circuses. The clowns. I know people are scared of clowns, not me. Well, some clowns I'm scared of. When I went to this, they had contortionists. They had this one male contortionist. Oh my gosh, this man like bent himself around in I don't know, like a cinnamon roll. He was bent around. It was crazy. Slow this down for a second. Scrape everything. I don't want to blend it for too much more. So just kind of scrape the sides and the bottom, making sure nothing is sticking so everything gets incorporated. Alright, I think that's good there. Alright, let me get things out of the way and then we'll put this in the crust. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and I had a few drops of vanilla I put on top of there. It was from that cup. You guys know me, I don't like wasting anything. Alright, so here is my pan, and somehow I spilled some of my crumbs. Oh well, I'll get that cleaned up. Alright, so we just put the cheesecake in there, like so, and it's gonna cook. It says for 1 hour, but I cut the recipe in half. So I'm going to check it at about 40 minutes. Alright. And I actually, like when I do things like this, I check with several recipes. I used to have my own recipe, and it actually called for a can of cream cheese frosting. It was a weird recipe, but everybody liked it. But after moving, I lost it. Some cream cheese on me. Cream cheese mixture on me. Alright, so Now that this has some weight in it, go ahead, kind of move it around. And it's not going to be perfect like it would be if it was in a spring mold, a spring form pan. But you know what? This is going to actually work. Okay. And we're going to drop it a couple times, get some air bubbles out. Okay, I think that's enough. Don't want to traumatize it. Alright, so the 350-degree oven for 40 minutes. We'll check it and see if it needs any more time than that. Alright, and we're going to be making the caramel sauce. We're going to be slicing the apples and all that yummy stuff. Be right back. Alright, so in this pan, I'm making my caramel sauce. You like my Oprah Winfrey impression? Caramel sauce. I actually met her twice. Back in the 90s. It almost was like she remembered me the second time she saw me. I don't know. But I have had celebrities remember me. It's weird. Who was it I saw? Amanda Freitag. For those of you who don't know who she is, she's actually a celebrity chef. She's some type of executive on Food Network. Alright, so to give you the measurements of this is half a cup of brown sugar, 2 tablespoons of butter. And I actually got this recipe off of Food Network. And so basically what I want to do is get this brown sugar and butter melted together. And I have it on low to, I guess medium low. Yeah, it's about between medium and low. Alright. So the cheesecake is actually done and cooling off in the oven. And we're going to let that sit for a little while. And my thing is, how do you know when the cheesecake is done? You know, it's really hard to say. It's just, you know, it shouldn't be a little jiggly, but not too jiggly. And what they said was you cook it, in their recipe it was cooked for an hour, but they made one twice the size the one I have. And then one recipe said let it sit 5 to 6 hours in the oven. Another said let it sit for an hour. So I'm going to let mine sit for not quite an hour. Yeah. Alright, so we do have some movement here finally. So by not quite an hour, I guess about 40 minutes in the oven. And then once it's done sitting for that long. Oh, and it cooked, mine took 40 minutes to cook. But yeah, so 40 minutes. I'm going to move this to low now. But 40 minutes in the oven. And then I'm going to let it sit for 40 minutes to cool in the same oven with the door cracked. Alright. Alright. So I think, we got this pretty much melted. And we don't want it all the way melted because then it's going to be like hard crack stage or something, We don't want to make candy. We're just making caramel sauce. And this is a pretty simple one. Butter. I'm adding cream. You could use milk if you like. That is a 1/4 cup of cream. And then we're going to whisk this until there are no lumps and everything is a little thicker. Ooh, that looks good. It's like, I love caramel and butterscotch. That broke my heart. For those of you who are familiar with Dairy Queen, they took away their butterscotch topping. I was so hurt. They're like, oh, we're just going to have caramel. And I'm like, but I like butterscotch. I should figure out how to make butterscotch and go to my local DQ. We have 3 of those in Richmond, you know. And there was one that we used to go to all the time on the north side. And there was this lady, I don't even know where the lady actually lived, but she had 2 jobs here on the north side. Her name is Jeannie. And we'd always call her Miss Jeannie. And she worked at this drugstore called Hooks. And then she worked at this Dairy Queen in the summer. And it used to be our Dairy Queen was only open, I think the first day they opened was February 14th. And then they would close on Halloween. I can't remember if it was actually Halloween or November 1st would be the day. And then they would be closed all winter. I guess because they figured people don't really want ice cream. You know, I don't know. Maybe the owners went to Florida during the winter. There's actually a lot of people who do that here in Richmond. Richmond is kind of like a tax shelter for them, I guess. So they live in Richmond during the warmer years. And then like the colder, warmer years, the warmer months. And then the colder months, they go and they live like in Florida, or they live in like warmer states. One lady I know, she goes down and visits her daughters in Atlanta. All right. So we don't want to cook this for too long, just about 5 to 7 minutes until it gets a little thicker. You can see it's bubbly. And this is hot, so don't get this on your skin. Anytime you cook with sugar like this, it does not go on your skin because it can cause a bad burn, because sugar will stick. That's why, have you ever seen where they use sugar to remove hair? Sugar is very sticky. Alright, and because I used the skillet, it's not going to take as long because of the surface area heating up more of the caramel at once. Alright. So you do want to heat it long enough so you know it's not going to crystallize anymore. I think I've reached that point. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it off. But because it is an iron skillet which stays hot, I'm going to keep mixing it for a little while longer. And I'm going to pause just a minute. One last ingredient, and that is about 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Get that mixed up in there. You could add cinnamon too, and that would be really like Latino food, you know, Mexican food. I don't know. I know it's weird when you live in the United States. You know a lot about like Mexican food. At least if you want to, you know, it's around the corner. Alright. Alright, I think that's good. It's coating the tongs of this. I don't know if you can tell if it's coating the tongs, but it is. So now I'm going to go and slice my apples. Be right back. Alright, so I'm about to slice and core my apple. And I have, actually it's called an Envy apple. It reminds me of Snow White, the name. And it's a new variety of apple. I think it was cultured in, what year? Like 2008, 2009. It's a new variety. Alright, so I have a little over a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. So I don't have any lemon juice right now. We just need an acid. This knife is flexible. It's making cuts that are not so straight. That's alright. I'll work with it. Alright. So basically I would just want to cut the core out. Alright, here's like a little bit of my paper towel. These are towels like I dried my hands on after I washed them. And I use them like if I spill something, I just wipe it up using those instead of dirtying up my kitchen towels. Alright. I don't use them directly on the food though. Alright. So we got the core removed here. I'm going to get the core out of this part. Alright. And so, yeah, there's a little something on my knife, and that was butter for when I measured the butter for the caramel sauce. I don't think that's going to hurt anything. You know, there's a little good apple in here. Ooh. I like it. It's sweet, crunchy, and kind of juicy. Alright. So, it would have been better if I used that big old knife I have. It actually gives me more control. So I want thin slices. Okay. This is moving around. I don't want to drop my apple. So let me go ahead and put that paper towel there. Another use for it. Alright. So I'm going to go ahead and put my apples with some water in there. I think that might be enough water. So okay. I'm going to cut this in half. Alright. So quick quiz, which is safer, a sharp knife or a dull knife? Alright, so if you said a dull knife, sorry, but you're wrong. And I'm going to tell you why you're wrong. You're wrong because a dull knife doesn't have as much control as a sharp knife. It needs more pressure to get through the food product. Ooh, I forgot to put my phone back on silent. But yeah, it needs more pressure to get through. So these are weird. I'm going to save those for the chef. And because it needs more pressure, you don't have as much control. So you might end up cutting yourself. These are so good. Alright. Alright, so here is my apple pie. My apple pie, my goodness. This is y'all know what I mean. This is my cheesecake. It's cool. It's not all the way cool. It's still just a little bit warmer than room temperature. I mean, I can touch it without being burned. So I'm gonna guess it's probably about 100 degrees or like 98 body temperature. So I'm just putting this right here. I'm going to leave the cheesecake in the wrapper here until I'm ready to serve it. So that one's kind of big, so I'm going to go ahead and replace it with that. Alright, so I moved my caramel. Once it cooled, I moved it to this bowl. I'm just going to pour it on top. Oh my gosh. This is going to be the hard part. I got to wait for the cheesecake to cool all the way. Oh my goodness, y'all. This is going to be hard. It's going to be hard pressed to wait. But we're going to do it. We're going to wait. Because it looks so good, y'all. There's caramel sauce on it. Alright. And I did try a little bit of the sauce, and it's good. Right, there's a bubble. There's a couple bubbles here. It's gotta go through there. Alright. So. Alright, I can't wait to try this. Oh my gosh. Ooh. I don't want to wait. Alrighty then. Now is time. So it might be helpful if I had another pair of hands to move this. I don't think it's gonna work if I had made them longer. I think I can do it this way. Oh, it's so heavy. There we go. As you can see, it did remove from the paper without too much damage to the sides. Alright, so you can always take the caramel and then drizzle it over the top, like so. I'm all excited. Alright, let me give it a taste test. Ooh. That's the bomb right there. It's so good. It's at room temperature right now, but once it gets really chilled, it'll be really good. Oh my goodness, y'all. So let me know if you try this in the comments. Thank you for stopping by Chef Curtis Cooking Corner. Remember to like, subscribe, share, stick around and watch more videos, and I'll see you next time. Take care, everyone.